Bada bing, bada boom. Hey everyone, how you doing? I just realised that I hit the live button before I'd even actually gone and sat down, which was a bit of a mistake. But I hope you're all okay. It is Tuesday, the 1st of August. We're already in August. Like, August has snuck up on us. Hope you're all okay. I've had a bit of a weird morning. I've done very little work, mainly because I'm just waiting on a client who's paid their deposit to send me the login details for the website and also to make a backup. So what I had reserved this morning for, I didn't do. And then I spent this morning looking up how I could play on the Xbox Game Pass because my son uses that on the PC. I've got a Mac. Could we play the same game on the Xbox Cloud? You know, like a multiplayer co-op while he's in there and I'm here. So this morning I was setting up like the Discord on his machine and all of that and sorting out the Game Pass. I'm just waiting for a wireless controller to arrive to connect up to the Mac. I'm going to try it out. But hey, George. Hey, John. Hey, friendly girl. Hey, Sasha. How are you all doing? So yeah, this morning I've done very little web work and I've been just setting up like, it's what I call father-son time because I feel like I spend so much time working and stuff like that. And I know my son, he's massively into playing his games, you know, when he's not doing his schoolwork and stuff or guitar. And I know he would really enjoy being able to play games with me kind of thing. Hey, Chuck T, how you doing? So I put out a bit of a controversial video today, which was my top 5 plugins that you don't need to use on WordPress. Hey, Gene. And I think a lot of people generally at the moment do agree with the 5 plugins that I've said. Well, 4 of them definitely you agree with. Hold on, can I just take this message? Right, so that was... Sorry about that, everyone. Phone call came in. By the way, hey, John, friendly girl, Keys, hope you're okay. Mia, yep, Dwight on the phone, that's about right. A new client wants us to help them out with their maintenance of their website. I've made very clear it's just to make sure their updates and stuff are running okay, stuff like that. And then they went and said, oh, whenever they send an email to Gmail, there's a bit of an issue with an SPS record or something. And I went, yeah, that's not included. So if I do start to look into that, you're going to end up paying extra for that. So I'm not making no guarantees because that's not part of your maintenance hosting package or anything like that. Not hosting, sorry, we're not hosting for them. They're with Hostinger. But in terms of maintaining their website, in terms of updates and stuff, yeah, that does not include email, sorting out your email. Really, really sorry, yeah, but that is separate. That's between your domain provider, your hosting provider, and everything that goes in between. Hey, Rajat, how are you doing? So, yeah, talk about the worst time, right, for a phone call to come in. Number one, I couldn't cancel it because I obviously... Their maintenance program kicks off today, so I wanted to know, well, what's up, what they're calling me for. And I couldn't blooming cancel the live chat, could I, because we are live. Hey Phil, how you doing? Hey Maggie, how are you? So what I was talking about was I put out what I think is a controversial video today, which is my top 5 WordPress plugins you don't need. The first 4, I think everyone can agree with me on that. Some people think Contact Form 7 is good. Does anyone here think Contact Form 7 is good? I don't find it. It's not intuitive. I don't like the interface. I find it convoluted in what you need to do and how you do things. Now, my 5th one, which is probably the most controversial one, is NitroPack. There's been a lot of bad press about NitroPack. However, they seem to have done things to improve their image. And they're hosting like a webinar with Google. Is it next week or the week after? Very, very soon. Might even be this week. Anyway, they're doing something with that. And just because they are now doing a webinar with Google, does that mean NitroPack are good? I'm still not convinced. I still think they are cutting corners to get you a high score. Let me tell you now, right? If you just have to activate ludicrous score or whatever, and it pushes you up. So even if you have a website where you've not custom loaded the fonts, and you've got no WebP images, but it can get you to 100%. Seriously, wouldn't you look at that and go, hold on, that looks a bit dodgy, isn't it? So I am... So yeah, I'm not sure. I was on mute, Richard. I was on mute. I'm sure I was on mute. I was on mute, wasn't I? I'm sure I was on mute. Chuck T, no code. Ping me if you need anything WSP. Yeah, cheers, George. Yeah, to be honest, though, the thing is, right, is that his domain is with IONS. His hosting is with Hostinger. To get the email to work, you obviously had to put the text, the MX record in. And now the IONS has said remove Hostinger, but you can't remove Hostinger. You need Hostinger on there. But anyway, I've said, yeah, I'll look into it, but I'm not going to put a lot of time into it. I'll be really, really honest, because it is one of those extra things that is above and beyond. And he understands, though, that if there's an extra charge to sort that out, fine. There'll be an extra charge. So yeah, with NitroPack, I wasn't that impressed with it about 2 years ago. I've kind of not spoken about NitroPack for a long time. But then when I saw the webinar kick off with Google, that's when I was like, right, I'm going to get my video out there. Because they're doing a webinar, just because it's with Google doesn't mean it's now a brilliant plugin. Do you get what I mean? I mean, you could easily have GoDaddy. GoDaddy have sponsored tons and tons of events, right, around the world. Loads of WordPress events. They're always sponsoring one thing or the other. Does that then mean that GoDaddy is now a really brilliant host to go with? And like 90% of people I speak to are going to say no, definitely not. Yeah. Oh, right, Chukti. Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, contact form, it's, Phil is right. It is flexible and it allows you to do what you want. I just think that if you imagine WordPress is meant to be accessible for people to use even if you have no coding knowledge, and then they go and stick on like a contact form where you need to really get dirty with it. Some people I know, they've got a basic website, they're using Contact Form 7, and you can see there's major issues of how they've built it or used it. That's the only reason I don't like it, to be honest. To be honest, though, Phil, I mean, I will look into it. Don't worry, Phil, I will look into it, but I'm not going to bust a gut to do it. What makes this client a little easy, in my opinion, is that their main issue is that they don't like running updates. They're always scared of running updates, especially Elementor updates. And the strategy here is actually quite a simple one, isn't it? Whenever there's an update, unless it's a vulnerability or a security aspect, you wait 1 week. After 1 week, you know, you will have tested it out on other test sites that you might have. You go, boom, boom, boom. Is it all okay? Yeah, it's okay. And away you go, right? Or the simplest method, one of my really simple super duper methods is you open up the client's website, you do a download with all-in-one migration. You then use tastewp.com, which is free, okay? You import a copy of the website. Believe me, this is going to take about 5 to 6 minutes, but you hit the button and you carry on working on other stuff. Oh, it's done. Now you import it, you carry on working. And then you hit update there. And if the update's fine, then you go and do it there. So all in all, you're looking at about 10, 15 minutes of your time. But that is literally it. And it's not even 10 to 15 minutes of your time in reality, because you're just hitting buttons and testing. John Cyanidis, have you heard of Scalar hosting? No, I haven't. Not really heard of them. What's good about them then? I mean, you say pricing and speed. How do I see the future of Elementor Pro? I see the future as being they have to move with the times. Look, 3.15 officially came out yesterday with the taxonomy filter. I've already spoken about how it is limited. There's no bidirectional. You can't do like you can't click one filter and it limits or reduces the amount of entries you get from another filter. We don't have a proper product filtering built in either. So the quicker that Elementor get that out, the more I will rave about it. At the moment, I'm not overly crazy about it because I feel like they I'm really glad they did it, but I feel like the amount of time they spent doing it, they could have done a better job of it, I think. You know, I mean, really, what is it? It's just a category filter, you know? Yeah, you can bring through attribute as well, I think. I can't remember. Can you do attribute? It's been a month since I looked at it. I think you can do attribute as well. So it's improved, but it's not all there, is it? And I was expecting a bit more. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Phil. Yeah, I mean, if it is when it's a vulnerability or a security aspect, definitely update. But anything else, like a new feature coming out by, I don't know, Rank Math or WooCommerce or anything like that, I'd say just wait a week. Don't rush out to update, because there's always going to be a step somewhere where something broke and they went and fixed it. So it's always a good idea to just wait or hang around. Don't forget to smash the like button. Hey, Mick, how are you doing? Johnny, I missed 1.5 months. Can you please give me an overview of what was changed in this time? The taxonomy filter, the accordions, which are now closed by default if you want, the tabs, the nestable tabs, nestable accordion, in fact, as well. I think they're the biggies, really. Yeah, I think they're the biggies. You know, for me, the post filter is the really big one. But again, it's not as good as what I thought we were going to get, right? It just feels like, okay, so we now have a fancier button style. And even then you're limited. You know, you can't change it to be a checkbox or a drop down or a radio style, which Elementor have said they are going to bring out. What I found funny was they did their roadmap thing about 2 to 3 days after I did my video, where I basically said, this is not good enough. This needs to be better. And it wasn't me having a dig. It's just me saying, I've been waiting for this since January, right? We get to July, 6 to 7 months on. We get to July, or was it end of June, or whenever it was? No. It was middle of July. It was middle of July, the roadmap thing now. 14th of July. We've been waiting all this time, and this is what you give for a taxonomy filter? Oh man, I've got to go for a quick wee break. Just give me 2 minutes. I really need to go for a wee break. Hey, sorry about that. When you gotta go, right? You gotta go. Hey, Pickstar. Hey, Irishman. How you doing? Phil's moved all of his clients from Elementor. Chuck T, a question with Elementor. Shall I always design mobile first? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to this. I like to go desktop. So with the desktop, I have everything. And but when I get to the mobile, I remove. Whereas if you start with the mobile, I feel like when you get to the desktop, you are now adding. And then you might need to go back and work on the mobile again. So you're kind of going like that a lot. Whereas when you have your desktop, for me, I can then streamline. But that's because I like to streamline rather than go out. So I prefer to go like that rather than like that. Because then I got all my components in place and I kind of have a much better idea of what we're doing and how I'm doing things as well. Friendly Girl prefers desktop first because then you have everything there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of my feelings there. Mick B, hopefully explaining this clearly. Do you have a video about a website with login functionality for customers who bought your product? Well, I mean, with WooCommerce, you have the My Account bit, so that's about it, really. And then you can obviously modify what they see with, like, the downloads, the orders. There's only so much you can do unless you use another third-party plugin. Track channel, I feel it's wrong to begin. I actually do think, that there is nothing wrong with mobile first. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I know a lot of people like that. I just prefer, like what a lot of people are saying in the comments, is to start desktop. If you use clamp, if you're using desktop, you put your clamp in the desktop, style, whatever, for the typography, for the padding or the margin. And then that when you get to the tablet or the mobile or the horizontal mobile or whatever, 9 times out of 10, you don't have to tinker as much because it's already working things through. The most you'll ever do is go, actually, we need a bit more padding here. We now need to have one container rather than two side by side, so you adjust the width or you reverse it and stuff like that. So it's always easier to have everything there and then you go condense it down. Hey, take care, George. See you soon, mate. Have lots of fun. Have lots of fun. So I'm just waiting for a client to feed over their login details. And in some way, I'm kind of glad they're a bit late to send me that, even though they've paid the deposit yesterday, because it gave me time to just look up Xbox Game Pass so I can play games with Raheem. I'm not sure how much I'm going to play, though, because I'm always busy. So Raheem will be like, Dad, can we play a game? And I'll be like, no, I'm busy. Go away. Leave me alone. You know. Yeah, Pickstar's right as well. I would always say go with what you prefer, to be honest. It's like painting, right? Do you paint with a roller? Do you paint with a brush? Do you start with the roller, end with the brush, or start with the brush and end with the roller? You know, either way, you're probably going to get the same thing done. And it's down to efficiency, what works for you. Mohammed says, I want to make an online bookstore using WordPress. So when you say you're confused about the visit store and the visit shop options, are you using a product archive plugin? And what theme are you using? I've got a feeling you're using a theme. So what are you using? Vajari, how are you doing? Go on, ask your question, my friend. You don't have to ask. You don't have to ask for permission. Just ask your question. John, is there any code snippet that hides product prices only for guests? Ooh. Okay, what you could do is you're obviously going to need a membership plugin like Paid Membership Pro or anything like that. You then add in the price widget or the element. Then you click it and it will then say only show this for certain members. You know, so they got to be a member or whatever like that. And then you can just, and that's it. That's literally it. So the price field, add to quantity and all of that will not be visible unless they are a member or they are signed up or something like that. So that's pretty simple to do. Or you could use a code snippet. But if you are using a membership plugin, you're probably going to have that built in anyway. So you could say, you can't see this page, you can't see this section, you can't see this widget, you can't see this video, you can't see this image, you can't see this button unless you are a member. Louis, any suggestions on thoughts when to try swap over a huge website? When? Well, I think it comes down to why are you even considering Divi to Elementor Pro? I think that's the question, really. So the fact that you're considering it, that's probably the right time. Leyu, how are you doing? How do you handle building appointments for a repair shop where you choose category child, category grandchild, category to choose a specific repair? So it all depends. There's lots of different plugins. There's Booknetic, there's Amelia, it all depends on, like, do they pay a deposit? Do they pay full price? Do they pick a date? Do they pick a time? So you need to go to Google, type in booking, WordPress booking plugin or WordPress appointment plugin, and then go and look at all the features and see what you kind of like. You mean site and visit store? Visit site? I'm still not sure what you mean there, Mohammed. Hey, Artif, how are you doing? Do you know what, Artif? Notifications on YouTube are a pain in the ass. Bajari, what could be wrong with my site? In the page editor, Elementor, when I enter the site settings panel and exit back to the page editor, it keeps loading the editor. Okay, it could well be a bloated page. Do you get that issue if you deactivate loads of plugins? Have you got any optimization plugins? What's your PHP or your memory limit on your website? If it's 256, up it to 512. But definitely deactivate loads of plugins and check and see what's going on and what else is on the page. Loads of images, loads of videos, loads of JavaScript, So there's a multitude of things that could be going on there. Yeah, fewer stuff loads faster, but I would deactivate just to double check. Aishman, can you make a scroll effect on Elementor? Like when you scroll, you see a bright light behind the image. Yeah, you can. Of course you can. You'll have you have an image, you then have a light, and there might be some opacity, transparency, whatever. You then go to scrolling effect, and you will have fade in, fade out. So you might say that as you're coming onto the page, it's like faded out. As you scroll down, viewport 25 or 30, it starts to become brighter, and it's full brightness until you get to, say, viewport 75, and then it goes back out again. So it fades in and it goes back out again, but it's positioned there. So yeah, a scrolling effect, you could easily go and have a play with that. Don't forget to smash the like button if you've not smashed the like button already. Can I show you? Can I show you? To be honest, Aishman, it depends on the image. It depends on the light. It will depend on the opacity. But I would recommend that you go and watch... I recommend you go and watch a video. Okay, so I'm going to give you a scroll effect. Let me just pop a video in here for you.
Become a better creator with Motion Array.
Woo. Let me just share this link for you. So I'm going to recommend... Oh, my mouse. What's up with my mouse? It's going all over the place. My mouse. Right, here you go. So Ayushman, you need to go and watch that. Okay? You need to go and watch that. Mohammed, do you have any videos on how to make a WooCommerce website? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I did it about 3 months ago. So let me dig it out for you, okay? Let me just get the video link. I should have this like saved so that I don't have to keep finding the old video, because there'll become a point where I'll be going back and forth on it. So Mohammed, you need to go and watch that. Okay, you need to go and watch that video. It's 7 hours long. Pick and choose what you want to watch. It's about WordPress optimization, page speed, performance, Elementor website, blog, WooCommerce settings, attributes, variables, cart checkout, payment gateway, rank math, Google Search Console, Google Analytics, keywords on the home page and your product page, blah de blah de blah de blah de blah. Loads of stuff. But you can pick and choose what you want to watch. It goes through a pretty good pace. It's all time stamped. Yeah, go and have a look at that one. Go and have a look at that. You'll be fine. It should work out for you pretty well. So this website that I'll be working on for the client who've paid their deposit yesterday, it is an online directory using the My Listing, but the bulk of the work is actually nothing to do with the listing. The bulk of the work is to redo the home page, sidebar, stuff like that, redo the blog page, and then make versions of the pages. Because the idea is that they want to do lots of like, marketing. So they have like a website, then they have 4 provinces. Within the provinces, they have regions. Within the regions, they have categories. Within the categories, they have subcategories. So it starts like that and it goes like that. Loads of pages. So a lot of it is actually duplication of effort. However, when it came to costing, my cost is not small. My cost is quite high because even though it's a lot of duplication of effort, you've got to check every little thing. Every link must go to the right place. There's a bit of back and forth. And if ever they go, oh, actually, can we change this and that? You want to make sure you're using a template number 1, but you got to make sure it's done in a very efficient manner. So if they ever add in another category, it's not too much legwork for them to go away and build it up. I'm looking forward to building it. It's going to be quite a bit of work. I've estimated about 7 to 10 days. I reckon it's going to be closer to 10 days, but that's because I'm doing it in between other stuff as well. Timo, what do you prefer to use for client website, Bricks or Elementor? It depends on the client, if I'm honest. If I know my client is going to get me to manage the website, I'll probably go with Bricks. If they're going to manage it themselves and they are very skilled, they could go with Bricks. That being said, the last 7-8 months, Elementor have done enough to make me go, well, actually, Elementor handles stuff really well as well. And the learning curve for Elementor is like that, whereas Bricks is like that. There's a big difference between the learning curve, right? Handover, what if I drop dead? Can anyone else pick up the website? Really easy, yeah. Bricks, you can also pick up, but if they go to someone who's not very good with like the CSS aspect or the coding aspect of it, and it's not always intuitive. Sometimes with Bricks, you kind of go, well, where do I go for X? And then you realize and you go, didn't think of that. You know, so there's some aspects where there's a bit more thinking required. When you get it, you get it. But if you try to teach a client who's not taken out a maintenance plan on how to manage their website, and there's going to be a lot of handover, a lot of back and forth with them. Mohammed, will this live be available on YouTube after it's ended? Yeah, but I might delete it. So if the live chat, normally 1 or 2 days after the live chat goes out, it gets hit by bots, like what I call fraudulent activity, with people just, views go like that. And I don't like that because then I get penalized by YouTube. So I may delete the video after 2 or 3 days. There's no guarantee. So any link that I've sent or put down for you there now, Mohammed, you need to go to that link, add it to your watch later, or subscribe to the channel, which you probably have done already. Louis, do you have a playground for pro users to grab container-ready design, copy and paste? No, I don't. I don't, because I treat everything like unique. So I don't have a playground area for people to go and grab any bits of stuff like that. I don't use GSAP, Aishman. I've never had a client who was bothered or really wanted the GSAP thing, so I'm not really messing around with that. Very, very true, Pickstar. Very, very true if you drop dead. You are right, though. You are right. If you drop dead, yeah, why should you be bothered? I'm more like, I'm quite conscientious about what happens afterwards. Like, even though, like, let's say I drop dead, I ain't going to know nothing. I won't know anything, right? Nah. You know, whatever happens, happens. But I feel like there's a part of me it's a bit like, if I'm working on a project, even when I used to work in the NHS, and I knew I was never going to work on that project again, and I'm never going to meet those people again, and I'm never going to talk to them again, there's always a bit of me that wants to leave a lasting impression. And it's quite funny because even now, every now and again, if I bump into like a doctor from Leicestershire, or even new doctors, they sometimes go, hey, you're Imran, aren't you? And I go, yeah. They go, yeah, that report you did in 2010, it's still on the wall telling us what we need to think about. And we always, you know, we're always told, have a look at this. And I'm like, oh yeah, cool. You know, and even if I'm dead, there's like a legacy left behind. That's my problem, Pickstar. I think too much about people's feelings. You know, if I know I've hurt someone's feelings, I really take it to heart. I really do. I get really angry with myself if I know I've hurt someone. I've said something and they didn't see the funny side, or it came out wrong, or it wasn't professional. And then I go, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it to sound like that. That really cuts me up. And I think and that's my style with how I work with clients, basically, where I love to I love to know that I've left them in a good place, you know, even if we fall out kind of thing. You're absolutely right, John. I mean, look, you know, with Elementor, you are right. I mean, that being said, though, okay, there is a downside. So, for instance, I did a video recently again for Elementor with the My Listing theme because I love using it. And quite a few people came to me going, can you do a video with the My Listing theme and Bricks? And I was like, well, no, because Bricks is a theme, as is the My Listing. And if you want to get dirty with child themes, you could maybe do it, but you are entering a world of pain because they are very unique themes. And when one updates and the other updates, you're going to get... Do you really want to be sat there coding forever? So in some aspects, the Bricks theme almost limits you to just that theme, and then you build everything upwards and outwards. Now, of course, there are directory solutions out there, but I don't think a lot of them work very well with Bricks completely. And I know there's a lot of people that would love to use the My Listing theme with Bricks, but they can't at the moment. Hey, take care, Chuck T's Art Studio. Oh man, Pixar, maggots sharpen the knives, you know, just maggots on their own is scary enough. Dara, if one purchases a template with a 1-year update, does one really need to purchase a lifetime subscription? Okay, Dara, okay. You have to think now about what is the basis of that theme or that template. What is it doing for you? Is it reliant on any of a third-party plugin to function? So if it is, and then something changes, like that plugin is no longer available, or there's a vulnerability, or they change to move with the times, because WordPress is always, well, at a very slow rate evolving and stuff like that. So it's like you have to kind of make a call on it. Like, what is that template using? If that template is only ever using Elementor, well, do you really need to be paying for the template update? You know, the template will give you the starting mainframe. You're probably going to tinker with it anyway. And let's say Elementor tweaked or did something a little differently. Maybe you don't need to worry about the template being updated. You could just do it yourself, kind of thing. So I would say, you need to have a think about it. You need to have a think about it. Yeah. Do you know what, Pixar? With a bit of legwork, you could make a directory that works like the My Listing with Bricks. It's just, I ain't got the time to look into that. I ain't got the time. You know, I mean, Phil makes a good point. You know, updates will stop after a year. So if you're going to go for a premium theme, and also at the same time, why did you go for that theme? Why? Obviously, there must have been something really, really good about it. So you need to make that clear to your client. So I always say to my clients when they get the My Listing theme, look, you buy the theme, $59. If you pay an extra $17, the support goes from 6 months to 1 year with the developers. If you don't do that, you won't have any, you're not part of the support system. You still get the update, but if there's an issue, you can't go to their support. But then again, you know, I mean, if there was a major issue with the My Listing theme, and you're now 2 years down the line, you just pay $17 to get part of the online support system. But at the same time, you have the WordPress support forum thing for the theme. You also have the My Listing Facebook group. So if there was a problem, you're probably not going to be the only one who's got a problem. So just go to the Facebook user group. And someone somewhere's probably already solved it or answered it or worked out a solution. You know, so you do have to weigh it up. Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing, Pixar, right? In that the obvious route is to go down the Croco block route. But I just feel like There's a load of extra work there, and I think a lot of you know my views on Crockablock in that I think it's really, really good. I think they've got a great team there, but it is not the most intuitive, and that's why I've never covered it in loads and loads of videos, because I feel like I'll spend ages trying to find the best way to present it. You know, there's just so much to cover, and you can't just cover one bit. You got to start thinking about every other bit of Crockablock, and to do a directory website, you're going to be using more, you know, not just Jet's filter and all of that. There's so much to cover. Mohammed, do I have a video on the best plugins I have on WordPress for a WooCommerce website? I've covered that. Mohammed, that video link I gave you, the 7-hour one, tells you about the plugins you need to be thinking about, you know. So you need to go and watch that 7-hour video. In fact, you need to watch all 7 hours of it, right? You need to turn your phone off, shut your door, go and grab some sandwiches so you don't, you know, and something to wee in, you know, so, and then lock yourself in a room and just watch it. John, do you think it's a GPL issue that Elementor needs to have a separate plugin for the Pro version? I don't know, John. I don't know. I don't know, but it's nothing to do with the GPL thing, I don't think. Yeah, exactly, Pickstar. Croco is... That's what I mean. There's so much going on in there. You know, WooCommerce is bad enough with how much bloat and JavaScript it adds to your website. It's ridiculous. Croco just takes it all the way up. Chankana, could you share a challenging issue you faced during a WordPress project and how you successfully resolved it? I think my tricky scenario was when we built a competition website. So where you buy tickets to enter a competition to win a car or a house and stuff like that. And the tricky scenario is we were using like a lottery plugin that works with WooCommerce. But the trouble was there was no styling. And there was a lot of CSS and coding we had to do to get it to work and rearrange items. And because the information presented wasn't like a grid or a loop grid where you could, you know, tweak it, whatever, there was a lot we had to do. And the big issue was then having to undo or redo the coding to fit different breakpoints. And that was a pain to do, really was painful. And I made a copy of all the code, so if ever the website ever updated, or the theme updated, or the plugin updated, it was built on Hello, by the way, then we had a copy of the code if it ever got lost. But that was painful. That really was painful. Because it's like they give you this wonderful plugin to do all of this raffle ticket and how many tickets are left and all of that, and you can buy multiple, you know, all of that shit. And then it, you know, generates the raffle code for you, and then the people can pick the number, and then it informs you and all of that. Really, really good. But the styling of it was like, it was like they were like, oh, let's not bother with the styling. We'll just give you like da-da. And the class names were like, it was ridiculous. The way it was built was so stupid in the way the styling could work. So there was a lot of back and forth with that one. And I remember, oh my God, it was like 2 days of back and forth. And not because of the client, it was me going, oh no, we did that and it affected this. Okay, we'll fix that. Oh no, it's done that. Oh, it's touched that. And you were like going, what's going on here? The class name should just be that. Oh no, it went and touched that. And it was the way they built it. And I pointed this out to them and they were like, oh, well, you know, if you need to hire an expert coder to mess around with the plugin code. And I was like, but you should have the styling built in. You shouldn't say to someone, here you go. And by the way, it was a premium plugin as well. So the client has to pay $70 a year for this plugin, right? It's a premium plugin. You pay $70 a year. Styling options were just not there. But that's the best plugin to use for it. I have to be honest. It was one of the best ones to use in terms of what it does, you know. Yeah, absolutely, Keys. You don't have to use all of the items in Crockablock. It's still, however, though, it's quite long-winded with building what you need to build. JMXHD, any worst bad experience you've had with clients you could share also, like truly annoying? Okay, yeah, so two. One was a client who I managed to pull out before they paid a deposit, in that even though they were based in the UK as well, they were adamant that every meeting had to be at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. at night. And I got a bit fed up of that. I was like, I don't want to keep having meetings at 9 p.m. And every time we had a meeting, even though we agreed on the price, they kept trying to push it down. We had 3 meetings, and at the same time, this is before they paid a deposit, and this is when I was like, why am I giving them my time for free? You know, them getting me angry here. So I'm glad I got out of that scenario. Another one was where the client basically they kept changing their mind. Okay, we agreed on what we were going to do, and then they were like, okay, can we do XYZ? Can we do ABC? Can we now do this? Oh, I spoke to someone who knows nothing about websites. We want to have a line. What do you want a line over here for? Okay, well, you want a line. And they just kept changing their mind. Oh, can we redo the homepage? No, we've signed off the homepage. Oh, no, but the boss now doesn't like it. What do you mean the boss doesn't like it? Did they sign off the homepage? No. So who signed it off? Someone else. So why did the boss not sign it off? Oh, they were busy, but the boss was meant to sign it off. And yes, I remember going, this is a website which was meant to take 7 days. It took 13 months. 13 months to get sign off, okay? And they did pay extra for it. Don't worry, they paid a bit extra. And it wasn't like we worked on it every day for 13 months. You work on it, then there's a massive gap. You work on it, there's a gap. You work on it, there's a gap. Oh no, we got to change this, we got to change that. That scenario was a bit of a difficult one because of the agreement that was put in place with how we were going to work with them. So this is where I didn't make the agreement. Someone else made the agreement. But if I had known at the time, I would not have agreed to the way we approach it. So, you know, something I've always said we should do, and it wasn't done in this case, and that was the mistake, is you have a start date, you have an end date, okay? So I've said to my client, who's paid a deposit yesterday, they haven't given me the login, but regardless, the project started today for 14 days. Now, I think it's going to take 7 to 10 days to do. 7 to 10. So within the 7 to 10, I've already built in 3 days buffer time in case I get busy or whatever, right? 7 to 10. But I've said the actual project start to end is 14 days starting off today. Okay? So I've built in 3 days buffer time and then 4 days extra leeway time. So look at that. That's 7 days technically I've built in, okay? But that's the start, that's the end date, okay? You got to do that with your projects. Every single project. Don't care how simple it is. Oh yeah, I'm going to sort out your email. Oh yeah, I'm going to migrate your website. Oh yeah, we're going to do your images. Whatever you do, give them a realistic deadline time. Don't undercut it. Yeah, we'll do it in an hour and it takes 4 hours. Give them a reasonable time frame, okay? You start and end, okay? Because what I'm letting the client know is I've reserved the time for you to do this, but we must finish on this date. If we do not finish on this date, then there will be additional payments to cover the time and the fact that it means I can't do other projects and it means I will miss out on work, okay? Because if you get a builder to build for you, and the builder says we must be finished on Friday, but the client keeps changing their mind, the builder will go, okay, fine, we're now going to be here for another 3 days, but you're probably going to pay more. The builder ain't going to go, okay, yeah, we've built your wall, we put your window and door in, but now you want the window and door to be here. Oh yeah, we'll do that for free. Oh yeah, don't worry, we'll knock it down, brick it all up for you and move it. And the bricks we put here, yeah, we'll knock them down and put the opening in. And we'll take the steel joist and move it over. Yeah, no props. No, they won't. They'll charge you for it. But start and end date, okay? Start and end date. And that is something in fact, one thing I'm guilty of is I do that to my clients, but when I get someone to do work for me, I need to be pushing that. Oh man.
796
Phone call. Wait a minute. That's just a client who's wants us to maintain their website, letting me know they're doing the online payment. Sometimes, right, when a client talks you through, okay, so I've put the name in, I've now put the sort code in, I've now put the account number in, I've now set the date and when the payments go out, I'm now hitting send. I'm like, you know, you don't want to tell them to go away. And I'm like, anyway, JMXHD, how would you handle this scenario? Client messages me, we have several meetings and I invoice him. Then he goes AWOL. Move on. I mean, have they paid a deposit? I'm guessing they've not paid a deposit. So in this scenario, I would move on. And this is the lesson I've learned many, many times. I don't give a lot. A client wants to maybe work with me or wants to talk about solutions. They pay. They pay for consultation time. And I have a lot of people that will not pay and we never speak and that's it. It's a lost client, a potential client. But I don't care. I don't care. I'm fed up of like giving away so much advice for free and they can take it and they can run away with it, right? They can take it and run away. So you got to kind of think about, you know, I mean, when you say several meetings, what's the total time you've given this client and have they paid a penny or a rupee or a dollar? What have they paid? How much time do you think you've given them? In total, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 days. How much time have you given them? Right? Put that down and then tell me if they've paid anything. Yep. Put it in. Put it in. Go on, tell us what you've done there. Right? And it's not because I'm trying to pick a fault here, but it's kind of highlighting the fact that the more we give, the more they take, you know? So the minute you say to someone, okay, look, someone might call me up and go, hey, I want a website. And I'll go, yeah, okay, what are you looking at? 5 page, 10 page? Is it a shop? Yeah, a shop. I go, well, okay, you're looking at about $1,000, $3,000, $7,000, whatever, okay? At that point, they're going to know if they want to go further or not. If they then go, yeah, can we work out more detail? I go, yeah, we can do, but I got a lot of meetings going on. So if we now need to go into like a detailed consultation, you have to pay for that. So £160 for the hour. I will knock that off the final cost because it's part of the discovery about what we're going to do and the solutions we're going to implement and stuff like that. Again, 9 times out of 10, the person disappears. But then I know they were either not serious, or they were never going to afford the budget I'm setting, or they are just going to they're just there to milk my brain, right? And I'm giving away time. I'm giving away time, right? I don't want to be doing that. Shanams, Shanams, I think it is. John Cyanidis, you were so right about the jetpack. Not sure if anyone should use it. No, mate, you so do not need it, right? If you're going to be doing Google Analytics and Google Search Console and Rank Math and all of that, you don't need Jetpack. There's been times where Elementor's done an update and Jetpack, which is running, causes stuff to just break on your website. And it was always the Jetpack. And people were like, why did Jetpack break my website? It's so basic. Yeah, but it's also got a load of stuff you don't need. Total meetings close to 2 hours. They want me to explain how the job was going to be. Yeah, look, they just want you, right, to spoon feed them. And then they'll go and get it elsewhere. Then they'll take what you give them and get it done cheaper or whatever. So don't give away. And you know what, JMXHD, my advice to you, right, is just send them a reminder and just let them know that, look, my prices are going up from September. My prices are increasing by 25% due to demand. However, if you want to sign up now so we get this done at this price, do let me know. But if not, take care. But you know where I am if you ever want to reach out for further support. And that's it. That's what you do, right? And that's it. You never chase again and you move on. But you learn from that experience that what you gave or didn't give, they just took it. And we've all been there. I once gave a client over 90 hours research time. Testing out plugins, testing out solutions, looking at wireframes. We can do X, Y, Z. Think about this for your marketing. Back and forth. Over 90 hours. The client then went and got the website built by someone in Newcastle for a very cheap price. In fact, their business folded because what they then built was rubbish, what they did. But over 90 hours. How naive was I to do that? Because the client was really, yeah, we're going to work with you. We're going to get this all doing. We even had face-to-face meetings with them where we traveled to meet them. Over 90 hours. Nothing. And that was the big lesson. That was the kick in the nuts, the guts, everywhere. That was the punch in the belly button. That was the finger in your throat. Bet you wondered where I was going with that. In your throat. Finger in your throat, right? Choke hold down. Slam dunk. Clothesline, pile driver, stone cold stunner. All of that. Boom. Right? That was the eye-opener. Like, what the hell am I doing here? And that's the big lesson. I don't give a lot now. Client goes, hey, I want a rough quote. Yeah, okay, here's a rough quote. Here's a rough quote. But your price could be lower or higher until we know the specifics. Now we need to have a consultation call. They go running. But I don't care. I would rather work with those that stay than the runners. Because you know the runners, they're the people that have probably contacted 20 other web designers and you don't even know about it. And they're going to take the cheapest or whatever they're going to get, right? And you might then spend 2 hours giving them a wonderful web proposal for no reason, you know? You're going to do a web proposal and go $1,000. And then someone else will go, yeah, we'll build your website for $10. They haven't even done a web proposal. The client goes to the $10 one because that's all. They're just going to run to that line. So I say, Forget it. Okay, everyone, I'm going to give you a 2-minute warning because we've been live for 1 hour and 7 minutes before I shoot off. Don't forget to smash the like button if you've not smashed the like button. And if you haven't watched our video on the top 5 WordPress plugins you do not need, go and watch it. It's not controversial, but it might make you think a little bit. Yeah. Shana, a request. Please make a video covering the inspect option feature in the browser. Do you know what? That is on my to-do list, and I have been thinking about that. I'm just trying to think of the best way to approach it because, the best way to approach it, and I probably will do it with Google Chrome. Xboxing. Actually, I'm going to stand up on my treadmill, which is right here, my walking treadmill, and I'm going to do some work, catch up stuff while on the treadmill. To be honest though, Keys, I can't do any Xboxing because even though I've got the Mac and I've got everything built in, I need a wireless controller, which should be arriving in the next 5 hours. And then we'll have a go on it. All right, everyone, I'm going to say take care. Stay well. I should be live tomorrow, give or take roughly the same time, I think, unless something comes through. But hey, take care.